This is Argo, our 1983 Morgan 462 Ketch. She contains all of our worldly possessions and is the place we call home.
We're going to take you on board for a boat tour. Let's go. Okay, to get on the boat we come up a 2-meter custom teak passerelle and it's suspended using the pulleys that we use for the dinghy. Normally we'd have the dinghy stored here, but we did just do a crossing where we thought we'd try out the dinghy on the foredeck and it worked out quite well. We just haven't put it back in the water yet. It's suspended from the stainless steel dinghy transom, which is quite good and we like it. It's just that it is a little bit, I know, too flimsy. It does move around a bit, so it's one of the upgrades that we'd like to do, just to get something that's a bit more solid, a bit higher, so that we could put on some solar. We do have a mount for our Starlink. It is just a regular fishing rod mount, and we've stuffed the Starlink mount up a bit just to make sure it's a nice firm fit in there. Mounted here for when we're underway is the dinghy outboard. It's a Tohatsu 20 horsepower, which is a fantastic engine. It goes really well, but it's probably a little bit of overkill for us. And not to mention the fact that it's quite heavy to get up and drop back down to put on the dinghy. So ideally maybe something a little bit smaller would be perfect. Okay, the Morgan 462s actually have 2 companionways. One is the main one that comes from the cockpit, and the other actually goes straight down into the main owner's aft cabin. We don't use this very much, but it does have a ladder, and it is really great to have kind of like a second emergency exit. Okay, something that's kind of cool about the boat, but also something that makes things a little bit more difficult, is that all the winches are kind of originals. Which is really nice to have the boat in original condition, but the winches themselves are not self-tailing. They work perfectly well, but it just means a little bit of extra work for us when we're tacking and maneuvering. The 2 main ones here are Luma 48s, 3-speed. We also have another 2 on the mizzen mast and another 3, I think, on the main mast and 1 on the main boom for reefing. These are smaller size. I think 3 of them are 16s and 2 of them are 8s. Okay, the sails themselves. At the moment we have the fully battened sails on both the main and the mizzen. We do have in storage 2 non-battened or half-battened sails, and we really love these ones. They kind of really shape nicely and fill out really nicely. On each of the main and the mizzen we also have preventer tackle and a decent sized traveller here to move the main across and get a bit of twist out of the sail. Normally here we would have mounted the Reverie 6-person life raft, but we've actually just put it in to be serviced, so that is all in working condition. Okay, these pulley blocks that come on the original 462s are really fantastic. They have the 2 pulleys in it, and how we use it is we have the bottom one being used for the jib sheet and the top one being used for the spinnaker sheet. And they work really well and they're quite strong. All right, we're now going to move forward down the sides here. There's a decent amount of space to walk down the sides. We have here fixed a swim ladder that folds out, and it actually sits in the Genoa car on the side there. We try to keep it there most of the time, although the only downside to that is we don't have the full range of movement on the Genoa car down the side. Okay, moving forward we have the actual original standing rigging. Which means it's quite old, but it was checked out just a few years ago and passed with flying colours, and it's in really great condition. On the mast, amongst this mess of lines, we have the 2 Luma 2-speed, 1 Luma 2-speed on this side, and 2 Luma 2-speeds on the other side. Each of the halyards for the foresail and the spinnaker come with these clutches, and we have a spinnaker pole for use on the long stretches with the spinnaker. On the foredeck we have, and on the aft deck, we have some really nice wood handholds that look great, and it's just really great for going forward to having something to hold on to. Ours have been sanded back and polished a few times, so they're getting a little thin. So I think that last couple of layers of varnish are load-bearing supporting varnish, to be honest. Okay, going forward, here's the dinghy that we have on the foredeck. We thought we'd try out the last crossing with the dinghy on the foredeck, and it worked out quite well. But typically we like to keep it on the transom at the stern. It's just very easy to drop down. So we'll probably get this out in the water in the next couple of days. The dinghy itself is a 10-foot or 3-meter Zar dinghy with an aluminium bottom, and we put on the Tohatsu 20 horsepower outboard that I showed you earlier. Okay, moving forward, we have our 12-volt windlass, for which we have a remote control and also a wide control that is accessed just through here on a string that we pull up for going up and down. The boat came with 65 meters or 200 feet of 10mm chain, which is sufficient for cruising around the Mediterranean, but ideally I would like something closer to 100 meters or 300 feet of anchor chain out. Okay, so the anchor that we have on at the moment is a 32 kilo or 66 pound Bruce anchor, which serves us quite well. Probably not the ideal anchor that I would like to have, but it definitely does the job. We also actually have 2 rollers at the front here, which is quite useful for any future augmentation. We have a Furlex roller furling system for the forestay and jib/Genoa. At the moment we have the standard jib fitted. We do have a Genoa, 130% Genoa, but unfortunately that got pretty badly damaged in a squall in between Minorca and Sardinia. We hope to get it repaired, but it's looking pretty bad. The rolling Furlex system has not failed us yet, and it runs back to the furling line right within arm's reach of the cockpit. And right at the very bow we have a bit of a bow seat and a little platform that you can stand on. We found it's the perfect spot for watching dolphins when they come and play in our bow wave. Okay, so these are our shore power inputs, which just on face value are not that interesting, but it makes sense when I start talking about the way that the electrical system is arranged. Now, this being an American boat, it has its mains AC system is 110 volts, but of course in Europe, everything including the shore power is 220 volts. So at the moment it breaks into 2 parallel 110 volt systems through a couple of step-down transformers that I can show you in the engine room. But this is where both of the shore power inlets for those 2 parallel systems come in. Astern we have 2 storage lockers with access from the deck. The one on the port side is really deep and really massive and has everything from extra lines, an extra anchor, an N4 stern anchor. It also has 2 scuba tanks. It also has a couple of jerry cans for extra fuel. So a lot of stuff in that one, super deep. Our tether, now I didn't talk about it earlier, we actually have a safety line tether that runs the length of the boat. This is really great when we're doing night crossings or any offshore kind of stuff. We clip on to our harness so that I can go change sails or move about and do things on deck without having to worry about ending up in the water in the middle of the night. The locker on the starboard side is kind of a wet locker. We use it to keep a lot of the cleaning products, buckets, hoses and fittings and everything of that nature. We also have accessible here a swimming shower, which comes out of that little cabinet hole there. Problem is that is not working at the moment, so that is next on the list of things to fix. I'm going to film getting into. Okay, one of the things I love about this boat, and it's quite rare amongst center cockpit boats of this size, is the actual size of the cockpit itself. There's a lot of room here to have several people and entertain, or a lot of room just to kind of move about. I can move very easily down this side of the helm station. It's not so easy to move down this side, but I can do it nonetheless. We have a fold-out table and 2 stages for drinks and snacks, and for the more comprehensive meals. We actually just polished this wood and varnished it, so it's looking pretty good, although it could do with a bit of a clean. At the helm station we have a Danforth Constellation magnetic compass, which we find really useful for night passages because it has just a nice fine glow so we can see the heading, but doesn't kind of blind us with the full screens. We have the Raymarine Hybrid Touch chart plotter and a Raymarine ACU 400 autopilot. We just actually had this fixed and updated, and in our passage yesterday it was working a dream. We also have VHF at the helm station, which is just a repeat of the VHF at the navigation table, which is also very useful. The floor of the cockpit actually has this really lovely grated teak sole. It's something that we again just restored with by sanding and teak oil, and it matches the same teak grating on the passerelle and also the forward head that we'll show you in a second. And just within sight of the helm we have the Raymarine ST60 wind, speed and depth instruments. In a lot of boats there's a lot of storage underneath the seats in the cockpit, but in Argo and in 462s there's not a whole lot of storage underneath because all the space is kind of being used up underneath. But there is one storage locker, and that is for gas. We did have 2 of these very large, I think they're 6 or 7 kilo LPG gas tanks. But throughout the Balearics and Sardinia and Tunisia, we could not find anyone who could fill these. So I did swap around the space a little bit, and now we have space for one of these in case we do come across a gas station that will fill this up, and enough space for 2, 3, possibly even 4 of the, I think, the camping gas cylinders. And everywhere we've been, we've found somewhere that will fill up the camping gas cylinders. So that's a really great way to make sure wherever we are, we can get some gas. Argo has a nice wide companionway with really solid stairs and handholds and really nice teak trimming. At the moment we have the folding doors, which we lock up when we need to. But when we go on a passage or start sailing, they lift up out of their hinges and go into stowage down below. And at hand in the gas locker, we have the washboards or weatherboards that slot in and provide a bit more of a seal for the companionway in rough seas. Let's go down below. All right.
So this is the galley, and it has this EU shape, which we find to be very good because it's kind of separate from the rest of the saloon, and also it kind of feels safe in case the boat is rocky because you can't really fall much further than this. And
do you know this from experience with all the cooking that you've done on the passage, huh?
Yeah, I don't do much cooking anyway because I get really seasick when the boat is moving, and I am here, so I always stay on deck. Anyway, so this is the fridge. You can access from this top door.
It's very full at the moment.
And
We're pretty
it's very, very
stocked
full
up
at the moment, and it needs some getting used to because I was not used to a vertical fridge, so you kind of need to store things in a different with a different like logic. I don't know, it's weird, but It's okay. It works fine. There's a lot of space in there. You just need to think that like some things need to go closer to the top, and like some things, if they fall to the bottom, it's really, really hard, at least for me, to reach the bottom. So next to the fridge, we have the freezer. We don't keep much here, to be honest. It is quite spacious, but we don't keep much food frozen because if the fridge is off, which we usually keep the fridge off when we are under passage, the food doesn't last frozen for that long. I mean, it lasts for a couple of days, but it's not like you can store. You can't really use the freezer.
A lot of it is because we don't like to use the generator so much.
Yeah.
So.
But you can't really use a freezer in the same way that you use it when you live in a house or an apartment, because maybe back home we used to buy food or maybe store food for a few months even, but that's not something you would do here because, yeah. Burner stove. Sorry, we always keep this chopping board that fits perfectly on top. It's also secure because of this. Yeah, it works really fine. It's not obviously not as big as the one we used to have in our apartment, but it is great for the boat. And the oven is actually quite good. The temperature is actually better than the one that we used to have in Dubai. And it has this function in which it can gimbals.
It gimbals, yeah.
It gimbals. And yeah, so if you're cooking underway, it's
also got some use at some rocky anchorages that we've had as well.
Yeah, it's actually really safe because, like, well, you know how that works, right? Like it will stay even if the boat is heeled. It will stay like the way it should. Gravity. There's a stowage down here, and even though it's clean, it needs some painting and it doesn't look very nice. So we're just keeping tins. So pretty much all the storage on this side is the fridge and the freezer, but we also have a cabinet door here. And at the moment, we are keeping water and some like, I don't know, food in general here. We also have some cabinets, and they're very useful, and at the same time we really like them because they have this rattan details which are really nice. They're all sliding doors, and we usually keep like snacks here. Yeah, there's more storage on that side, and the little corner is a bit hard to access, so I usually keep like pasta or things that are more like extra, like long-term storage. There's a spice rack on this side, which was installed by the previous owner, and we think it's really cute and it works well for us. We also have some more food here, some sauces, and then this is our tea coffee station. We have all the mugs, all the coffee pots, and mate for me. What else? Oh, that set of knives, that's like a magnetic thing. That's actually really cool. That was left by the previous owner, and we decided to leave it because it's really, really helpful.
Yeah, it holds really strong. The knives have never come off,
Yeah.
no matter how rough
And
the
the
seas have
knives
been.
are actually good, but if we wanted to, we can like upgrade them or buy some new ones or whatever. And that metal magnetic bit will be okay there. So moving on to this side, we have a sink, which is like a double sink, I guess.
What about the glowing light in the tap?
Yeah, this is the tap, which was like a late addition to the boat, and it has some colors indicating the temperature of the water, which are really good. Very, very useful. Anyway, disco lights, and
The stowage in the corner,
Yeah.
the pots and pans.
there's a big stowage here. Wait, let me. Sorry.
Doing some cleaning on the way. Clean as you go, that's the motto.
Yeah, there's a really big stowage here, in which we keep our pots and pans and some containers and big stuff that we don't have anywhere else to put, basically. And then we have two drawers here. They're quite small, but they're okay, to be honest. Yeah, we just keep like cutlery and stuff there. And then under the sink, there's the, I think the water pressure pump is in there, and we usually keep some sparkling water or water and a small basket of cleaning products in there. So much else you can put in there, to be honest. Also, up here, we keep our plates and we keep glasses and wine glasses. And one thing to say about that is that we replaced everything that was glass for plastic. It doesn't feel as nice when you are drinking from a plastic wine glass, but they look really nice anyway. I'll show you.
But it doesn't feel as nice to have shards of glass in your feet.
Yeah, the thing was like every time we were going, they're quite okay. Every time we were going sailing, if the boat was heeled or just it got like a little bit rocky, this door will slide and everything will be like shattered on the floor. And we don't wear shoes on the boat, so it was just not really safe. And to be honest, it's just like we don't have that headache right now.
We do have some hangers that they were on, but they tended to even slide out of those rails.
Yeah, or like bang into each other.
Yeah. Eventually hope to get some rails that will fit our new plastic.
Yeah, we'll see.
glasses.
We'll see.
Anyway.
I'm happy to have them here. Anyway, we also have here. We also have a microwave, which is a bit slower than normal microwaves, I guess. But it will be extremely hard to replace. First of all, because it's a 110 microwave, and where we are sailing around, everything is 220. Obviously, except for the US, everything is, I think, Canada's the
Pretty
same.
much, yeah.
But except for North America, everything is 220 pretty much everywhere, so it will be really hard to find. Also, it just fits perfectly in this spot, so we're keeping this.
We're keeping it for now.
Yeah. Then there's a big drawer here in which we keep tea towels and tablecloths and stuff. And there were some cleaning products here before, but now we figure that it would be more useful for us to have some tools, some like basic.
The tools that we
basic
use
toolkit,
regularly,
just, yeah. For quick access, like I don't know, a screwdriver, a hammer, whatever. That's it for the galley. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a saloon. So we mainly have this like dining area, which we use for everything. And at the same time, this table can be dropped down. And if you rearrange the cushions, we haven't done that yet, but if you rearrange the cushions, you are supposed to have a double bed, which is really good if we have some extra guests, because we do have a guest cabin. Anyway. And then there's storage under the cushions and behind the cushions there. We do have a few cabinets there, but one thing that we have on the boat, which is really good, but it takes up a lot of space, that's the air conditioning system. And it takes up that door there, a bit of stowage there, pretty much all this side. Yeah, there's also a TV. This was installed by the previous owner, and
it works, but we don't use it so much, do we?
Yeah, it works okay. The sound is not very good, but it's okay. We don't really use it. We usually, if we want to watch anything, we watch on the Ryan's laptop. Yeah.
What were they standing on the new carpet?
Yeah, so we got this new rug from Tunisia, because we figure we are in a country where they have nice rugs, so we should get one. And yeah, it wasn't ideally thought to be here, so it's not
it's working for now.
right size, but it's working for now. On this side, we have another sofa, and it can also be turned into a bed. Sorry, can I say that again? It can also turn into another bed.
That latch is quite strong, actually.
Anyway, so you move all this up here and then just like move the cushions, and you have like a pretty...
Yeah, it's almost a double, I guess.
Almost a double, yeah. It's kind of nice. We're thinking like, we haven't done this yet, but because we haven't done any crossing, the two of us, but if it was the two of us for a crossing, I think this would be a good place to sleep, because if anyone, whoever's on watch needs anything, you can easily like just.
We do need
down.
just need to add a lee cloth. That's all.
Yeah.
The bunks would be ideal, but the bunks are still not suitable for sleeping just yet.
I think it gets a little bit noisy up down back there. Anyway. Yeah, there's stowage here. We have lots of ropes and everything for now, because we might rearrange that.
Yeah.
And there's stowage underneath also, which is good. Moving forward, we have the V-Berth. And it's only one. I know some boats, they have like a divider in the middle and they can have like 2 cabins. It's one for us, and we also have a wet locker here. There's a wardrobe, and here's the forward head. I'll show you anyway. In the wet locker, it's a wet locker because it has like a drain, right?
Yeah.
So you can we keep usually like coats and
Wet weather gear.
wet weather gear and some other things.
Some storage down there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's the V-Berth, and people who slept here, they said that it's really comfortable. We haven't tested it yet, actually. There are 2 big drawers here, and 2 like floor stowages are okay. Not floor stowages, but like shoe stowages maybe.
Yeah.
And we have these 2 shelves on each side, which are really good, I think, like especially for having guests.
Yeah, there's a lot of space on those shelves.
Yeah, you can keep your clothes here for a couple of days. It works fine. We also have the triangle there. That's an insert for this part, so you have like a full bed. And behind the mirror, there's access to a windless. And there's another light. And we have this massive hatch here, which is amazing because you can see right now. You can see the wind. Oh, and behind here, there is this wardrobe, which is quite spacious, and Ryan's keeping his shirts there for now. There are 2 doors to the forward head, one from the saloon, one from the V-Berth, and here it is. I'll go from the other side maybe. So here's the space for a shower. We polished. Oh, we didn't do this one.
No,
It's
it was
in
already
very
in
good
quite
condition.
good condition,
Yeah.
so we haven't polished that teak sole yet.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. This is a shower head that can
so
be
we
connected to the tap.
connect the shower there to the tap. It is a wet head, which means that it there's no separate section for a shower, but it works quite well, and several of our guests have used it, and I think it actually has better water pressure in the shower than we do in the main head aft.
And we have some small cabinet here. We usually keep the top shelf free for guests, and then we have some extra stuff here for us. Yeah,
and it's worth mentioning both the heads on Argo are electric heads, so they pump electrically, which is great. But I have there you go. It's great, but I have reservations about. It seems like sometimes one extra thing to fix if it breaks.
it's okay. I'm happy with it. Okay, so now we're going to the aft cabin. This is the how do you call this? Hallway.
Passageway and bunks.
Whatever. So these are 2 bunks that are meant to be beds, but at the moment this is our only storage space that we have for large items in particular. So we were really trying our best to at least have one of them functioning as a bed, but it didn't work out for us at the moment.
It has functioned as a bed before, but at the detriment to all the other storage space.
Yeah, I think it's quite difficult when you live aboard and you don't have any other home or apartment or house or whatever to not have like you really need a space where you can store big items. So we do have the spinnaker here, some snorkeling gear, one suitcase I always need. There's a roll mattress that we bought initially for this bunk bed, our shopping trolley, grandma trolley, Ryan's piano. Lives here for now.
Full-size Eddie piano.
Yeah, we need to find a way to have that a bit more accessible. I don't know what that is. I
That's
think
the
it's a
storm
sail.
jib.
Oh, okay.
So we have all the spare sails are stored down here as well.
Yep. And there are fishing rods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right opposite to the bunks, there's the access to the engine room. And we also have another wardrobe here, which is, I think it's like the largest one so far. There are a few drawers. We keep here all sorts of things because we need storage. But it also has some shelves behind. It's quite a good space, but it does need maybe
A deep cleaning.
cleaning or renovation. It smells a bit moldy. I haven't seen the mold, but it smells a tiny bit moldy. So we'll see what happens. Okay, and opposite to the wardrobe, we have access to the bathroom.
In the passageway that connects the main saloon to the owner's aft cabin, we have the main engine access and a lot of the mechanical controls built into the wall. The first locker that we'll see here though is actually for things like, it's a lubricant locker, so things like oils, coolants, additives, and distilled water, things like that. On the wall of the engine room we have a tank tender, which we use to check our levels of our tanks. At the moment only one of these is working, so we're going to have to get this serviced, but the idea is you hold down the tank that you want to check and you pump to check the level, and the pressure of inches or of liquid that come back tells you in the corresponding table how much water or diesel you have. The next one is our battery monitoring, which we can use to check the charge in our batteries and also invert the battery power to have 110 volts of electricity through our sockets if we need to. Next along is our generator control. We have a 5 kilowatt Northern Lights generator, which I'll show you in the engine room in a second. It's really handy just to have the start and stop controls here. Makes it really easy for switching off and on. Down we have our control for our holding tank. The holding tank at the back has a mechanical pump that we can pump out when we're out at sea, and it also has a level that tells us how full it is. And below that we have the switch for the wind generator to turn it off and on, and a little amp meter that tells us how much power we're getting out of the wind. This is the main engine room access, although there is another access point from the bathtub. Yes, I did say bathtub, I'll show you that soon. Okay, the view you see now is from the main engine access, and I am crawling through the access from the bathtub. I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'4" or 190 something centimeters, and quite rather wide, but I can get through here to do any work or adjust anything in the engine room. The engine is the original Perkins 4154 engine, which is a 65 horsepower engine. Now it is the original, which means that it's quite old, and to be honest, within I'd say the next few years to 5 years, it would probably need a major overhaul or replacement. But so far it has been really reliable, and in fact the surveyor, when I purchased the boat, said it was in excellent condition and took it up to its max RPM for some time and could not get it to blow any smoke. So we're really happy with the Perkins engine so far. Okay, what I'm leaning on here is the 5 kilowatt Northern Lights generator, and behind we have our refrigeration, 110 volt fridge and freezer. We have a 12 volt auxiliary fridge and freezer that controls just the little unit inside the main refrigerator. We have a water maker, the Little Wonder. It's more of an emergency water maker. It's a 12 volt one, and it doesn't generate a whole lot of fresh water every hour. It's something like 8 gallons or 24 litres, which is certainly very useful to prolong the amount of time that we're at anchor. But it's something that we'd like to upgrade eventually to something with a bit bigger capacity. I'm leaning on here, I think it's a 60-litre water heater, which also runs through 110 volt, but also with heat exchange with a motor. So when we motor for a little bit each day, it's usually enough to supply us with hot water. We have two Xantrex True Charge battery chargers, taking care of the batteries. And just below there is the control for the water maker. And in the corner here we have the two step-down transformers that take the 220 volt European shore power and step it down to two parallel systems of 110 volts. Under the bottom bunk here we have our house battery or service battery bank. At the moment we only have two 180 amp hour batteries. This is one of the things that we want to upgrade really soon to most likely lithium. Now we have a couple of complications in that the boat is, most of the mains electrical AC systems on the boat are 110 volts. But we'd like to start adding some 220 volt items. So we're planning to upgrade to lithium and have a separate inverter and going to some separate 220 volt plugs. In the meantime, while we don't have that, we have a separate external solar powered generator / power bank. In the meantime, for any appliances that are 220 volts, or if we don't want to use the existing inverter on the boat, we have an external power bank / generator that can be plugged into 400 watts of foldable solar panels. So this is the Power Oak Bluetti. It's the 1.5 kilowatt hour power bank / generator. And to work with it, I have two 200 watt solar panels that can plug in, and I've made an extension cable and solar connectors that will allow us to keep the unit here while unfolding the solar panels up on deck. Because while this unit is fantastic, it is a little bit weighty at I think about 18 kilos at least. Go.
Here are the captain's quarters. My quarters.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's the captain?
Okay, welcome to my crib. So this is the aft cabin, and can you actually see everything? It has a very odd shape for the bed arrangements, but it's okay. We believe that this is like a foldable,
Extension
yeah.
to the bed.
So we believe this like this, right? That this was a later addition, like a late addition to the
It could
setting.
be original, but
I haven't seen it on other 462, so
okay.
I think it's an addition. But anyway, it's not like you can sleep like this because your feet will be hanging. So we are not so sure if this is going to stay here for long. We'll have to test it and see how it goes. At the moment, we've tried already sleeping like this, which is okay, but I'm a bit claustrophobic and it feels like if you're on that side, it's not very good. So for now, we're sleeping like this. It's weird. Yeah. It's not very romantic.
I think
it's okay.
The original design is that you have some berths that run down the side of the boat for kind of easier sleeping when you're doing a crossing or a passage. It is actually an incredible amount of bed space. So much bed space, but it's just a very strange layout.
Shape, yeah. Oh, so there's a lot of stowage. No, there's not a lot of stowage here.
There's a decent amount of stowage there, but there's also the hydraulics and the steering.
And the steering
access to the rudder.
So, like, probably all that part is the hydraulics, and we have a little bit of stowage here, and then we have drawers, 2 on each side, and some access. They are obviously a bit oddly shaped because it's like, well, the shape of the boat, right? And there are two wardrobes. One is quite small, so of course this is Ryan's and not mine. So yeah, poor thing, he has all his shirts like and there's another one on the other side.
Let me get out and cross over.
Yeah. And here's mine.
Oh, how nice to have such a big wardrobe.
Yeah, also I organized it very nicely, which Ryan didn't do with his. but it's
difficult
okay.
when you don't have much space, I guess.
There's also space like behind, like at the back.
It's like
of
extra
at
little shelves at
yeah,
the very
there are
back.
a few
Yeah.
extra shelves, and I keep like my handbags and stuff in there. We also have 2 shelves here in which we are just having anything at the moment, to be honest. Ideally they will be empty, or they will just have a few books and a little plant or something, but we're not there yet.
And of course,
Yeah, we have the second companionway, which also works as an emergency exit in case of fire or anything or whatever, or sinking.
yeah. And we have the ladder kind of,
Yeah, this is just what we arranged, but
strapped
we'll
there.
probably come up with some more elegant way.
We don't really use this companionway, and we have the ladder. We don't really use it, but we don't want to get rid of it either.
Yeah, to be honest, we are usually hanging our towels from here. It doesn't look very nice, but it works for us at the moment. And we also have access into the bathroom. Okay, so this is the bathroom. Come with me, please. And we have a bathtub.
Bathtub.
Yeah. This is a door that has access to the engine room. So after we shower, we usually like try to wipe down here because we don't want a lot of water going in there. It doesn't really go in there, but we just wear like this. There's some stowage. There's stowage here, so we can have some storage space. Ryan keeps some
Spare parts.
or something that I don't know. Another 2 rattan doors. One of them is broken. These are a bit swollen, so they're hard to move. But we keep all our toiletries in there, and hair dryer and everything. There's some space under the sink. We keep some cleaning products in there. Yeah, it works. Everything works pretty fine here. On the other side, we have the head and the, is that how you say? Toilet, and and we also have kind of like a first aid kit in there. It's just usually mostly like medicines and stuff that we keep in there.
And that's the other access from the passageway.
Yeah, so you can actually leave this way.
Okay, thanks for coming on board Argo, our Morgan 462. We've probably forgotten to show you some parts of it, but I'm sure over the course of time you'll get to know every little part of it, as we kind of get to know it, because there's still a lot of things that kind of surprise us, or new uses of spaces that
if we haven't showed something, it's because we haven't found it yet. Coming soon.
Exactly. All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.